Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is a collective message for the month of July, and not only. It is almost like the energy, the elements that will come in to this message will integrate over years is what I hear, over a longer period of time. We will bring in messages around Uranus in Gemini transit. Okay, so let's begin. First and foremost, what I have to share with you, citizens of Earth planet, is we are splitting. There are two categories here that I will bring under the light of consciousness, and that is, one of them is talking about people which have integrated a whole lot and they have become superhumans, if you will. Not many in this category, though there are many to follow, many to come. And the ones that are following, the ones that will follow, and the ones that will come are the second category that I'm going to speak about in 1 second. And so, in this category, the first one, you are someone that you have been doing a lot of inner work, a lot of integration, a lot of self-knowing. The mental tricks or mental games, they don't work on you any longer. I almost want to say you are trickster energy proof, right? Not much can get to you that is false. And so what is required from you now is to take that knowledge, those tools that you have been acquired, maybe during Uranus in Taurus, which is coming to an end, or maybe no, it didn't came to an end just yet, it's going to come soon. Uranus enters Gemini on July 7th. Maybe during that period of time you have been learning a lot, doing a lot of shadow work is what I hear, shadow work, inner work, relationship. You have been cleaning your house, so to speak, using this as a metaphor regarding relationships, right? And so now you are advised, starting with the second part of July, moving towards the next 8 years or so, to use the tools that you have and to create with them. Use the tools that you have in your toolbox to give birth to whatever you are passionate about, whatever involves passion and the energy of creation. So creating something out of pure light is what I want to say. That's exactly what wants to be expressed. Creating something out of pure light, using the tools that you acquired during this last 8 years, more or less, right? Now, the second category of people are those of us that we are still trying to figure out what the mind of man is all about. And why am I saying the mind of man? Because if you ask me, there is no such thing as human mind and something else. There is only the higher mind, there is only the God mind, and that's what naturally exists in us, comes to us when we don't allow past mistakes, past guilt, past lower frequencies to interfere with our present moment. When we don't allow that, we are now in the flow of the higher mind, right? Right, now, the next element I want to bring in this message is a parallel, if you want, vision with parallel to Genesis. I hope I'm using the right word here. Let me tell you what I want to say, and then you will draw your own conclusions. Bringing in astrology, zodiac signs, astrological zodiac signs. At the beginning, there was a flame, Aries, a spark, Aries. And this spark needed to be grounded, Taurus. Grounded and built. This flame wanted to know itself better. Better said, wanted to feel itself better. And so it split in two. Now it's split into Gemini. Now we have two flames. Because we have two flames, the energy of the home is being birthed, Cancer. Love and home. Having these elements all together, the flame grew bigger. These two flames together created a bigger flame, Leo, which is grounded in the element of home. Now that this existed, there was a need for, how can I say this? Some elements, some details needed to be put in place in order for this institution that was created, this family unit, to expand. And so the element of Virgo came through. Details, right? As more families were created, Libra was needed in order for justice, laws, the element of law and justice to be put in place and to assure a certain level of clarity and structure. Going to the extreme cases that Libra couldn't reach, Scorpio came through to help Libra see the darkest of the dark corner of the world that was created. Scorpio can look at the darkness in the eye and not get scared, transmute it, right? Now we have a community. A priest was needed, Sagittarius, spiritual teacher, coming with the energy actually of the Hierophant, but it's Sagittarius still. It was needed to help the community entertain and not lose the connection with the higher power, with the divine. As more communities were created, Capricorn was needed now to have a higher vision, CEO, over the community where him or her was part of, to ensure the perfect structure that could allow exchanges between communities, monetarily and otherwise, I assume. Now, Aquarius wasn't too loved, too appreciated, and too embraced when it came into the picture, because Aquarians want to bring the humanitarian, all communities back to one, using AI, using higher technology, but in a way where people yet have to evolve to understand what Aquarians are all about. 1 second, because there is something here. I'm trying to touch the main vein, to tap into the main vein here with the Aquarians. Aquarians live in the land of confusion. And you can reach that land, the land of gods, only through true integration, right? And Aquarians, they do this, at least some of them, the healthiest ones, right? They do this naturally, and they don't even realize they are super integrated people. Again, the healthiest one, the more integrated ones, right? Not the ones that are super split and fragmented. But I'm not going to go down to that rabbit hole right now. The point here is Aquarians were, maybe they still are, considered the black sheep. They are somehow, and you don't have to be an Aquarius necessarily, as you carry this energy within you at a soul level. They were excluded from the group because the rigid structure that Capricorn came with, and they were needed at some point, are now threatened. But the point here that humanity needs to open their eyes to is Aquarian energy. The Aquarius comes and wants to work with what was Capricorn. Because Aquarius, without what Capricorn did, cannot evolve, cannot move. It needs the old to give birth to new. And so there is a collaboration that needs to happen here between these two energies in order for the humanity to merge, for the DNA structure of that which a human being was meant to be from the beginning of times, actually to be, to exist, to be born, right? Okay, interesting. Pisces is a spiritual leader, what many would say. I'm here today to tell you that's mostly false, true in some cases, but Pisces is mostly spiritual protection, is protecting whatever community. If you want, the shaman of the village, whoever is under the wing of the Pisces, again, a more integrated Pisces, a more integrated human. I'm not talking here about people that are super fragmented. Whoever is under their energy field, they are protected spiritually, even if they have a lot of karma. Somehow that karma, they will get a second chance to clear that karma. Yep, look at that. I'm sorry about that. They will get a second chance to clear that karma in a more kind way. You know how sometimes when karma comes, we experience huge tower moments. In this case, when you are under a Pisces, you can feel it way instead of being hit by a bus, you are now hit by a bike, right? And you just have to seize the moment and to perceive the opportunity you have. And again, these people, they don't have to be Pisces. They can carry that energy of the Pisces, the Piscean energy, their soul, as their primary energy, right? Spiritual protection, the spiritual protectors, the protectors, right? And there has to be an exchange, an exchange of energies between these people that are being protected, and they are having the second chance, third chance to clear their karma in a more kind way than they should have or they would have if the Piscean would have been there. So they somehow have to, energetically or otherwise, has to pay it back to the Pisces, right? Okay, that's that. So why am I saying all this? In the month of July, and after July, we will notice an evolution of what zodiac signs are. We are integrating, we are closing at the soul level as a collective. We are closing a huge soul cycle. We are especially if you are part of the spiritual land, right, spiritual corner of the world, and not only, but there is where this message is taking me right now. You can see that lately some things happened. Some spiritual leaders were exposed in one way or another. That exposure of theirs is only the culmination point of what's happening actually. The avoidance in the spiritual field, spiritual communities, and not only. We are learning now, we are seeing that spirituality doesn't mean avoidance, doesn't mean bypassing. We have to integrate the fourth dimension, the fifth dimension, the third dimension, all the dimensions in order to be healthier and more evolved. If you have an opening towards another realm, that doesn't mean you are more evolved than your neighbor that doesn't, because your neighbor might have been integrating other things related to the 3D realm. And so you always have to look at your environment as a mirror of that which you are. And so your environment is almost like a portal inviting you to get to know yourself better. If you are someone that you don't like your life, you don't like your environment, you don't like what you're experiencing in your day-by-day life, pause, take a second, and look at your environment with curious eyes. Again, you might be someone I'm talking to right now that you are part of the ones that need to adopt the energy of curiosity to get to know the darker corners of their psyche better, and using the energy of Uranus in Gemini, which is curiosity, playful, happiness, fun, to get to do that. Oh, my camera is about to die. I'll be right back. Okay. What else for the month of July? Yes, let's come back a little bit to the fact that we are closing a huge, humongous soul cycle. And what is that supposed to mean? Those of us that we are, again, considering ourselves spiritual, and we see all these beings of light, remember, these beings of light are there to help us integrate more. What that is supposed to mean is, actually, this is a thing that will happen in the month of July in particular, and it's going to move over the next 3 years, 2 years, 3 years. It really depends of your journey and of your timeline, but it's somewhere around 2 years, 3 years, right? The beings of light that you see will, if you want, shine light on the dark beings of dark from the false matrix actually that exists within you. Because the true polarity, it is not what humanity and many people in spiritual community think it is. They are really confused regarding what real polarity is and can be, and what the fake one is. And so we are almost bypassing, we are almost lying to ourselves, confusing ourselves, gaslighting ourselves is what we are doing by not taking life and ourselves seriously, right? And then when bad things start to happen, then and only then we have the tendency to take control of our lives and of our situations. And this is a message that keeps coming back and coming back when I'm recording, or when I am in a masterclass, or when I am in a meeting with someone that wants help, if you want to call it like that, from me, right? Yeah, take yourself seriously. That doesn't mean that joy and fun is not going to happen here and there, especially now with the energy of Gemini, Uranus in Gemini. Here and there I do feel fun, joy. Gemini in Uranus in Gemini, they are very compatible, right? This planet with this sign, air energy, sword energy, word energy. A lot of this energy is going to play out. I don't know if I mentioned it. It's going to play out at a mental level. And if you're someone, especially for those of us that we haven't started yet, or we are in the midst of, or at the beginning stages of getting to know ourselves in the darkest corner of our consciousness, and if we are not flexible enough, mentally speaking, this energy will create the conditions, the environment, and will give you opportunity after opportunity after opportunity for you to become more flexible, and as a result, basically to evolve. And here is what's coming back. Aquarius and Capricorn, right? Aquarius is giving these opportunities to Capricorn, which is very structured, right? And is bringing a higher perspective over the structures that are already in place. Capricorn on the shadow side can be very toxic and very holding on to things for far too long. Capricorn here on the shadow side tends to eat expired things, right? I know it sounds a little bit rough. Tends to hold on to structures that they don't work any longer. An example that comes to mind really quick here is, you know how in some corner of spirituality, some people, they connect a certain animal, let's say, with a certain meaning. If I see a black panther, that means something bad is going to happen. I'm not saying this is the meaning of it, but it's just an example. And so they move with that their whole life. Uranus in Gemini is teaching us with this type of Capricornian energy. You don't have to be a Capricorn. You can be someone with very fixed mentality, right, regarding some aspects of life. And so Aquarius energy here comes, Uranus comes and says, look, I am offering you a new perspective. Be curious. This is what you have to keep in mind. If you are someone that you know in yourself, because you just know that you want to be, or you have to be more flexible, a more open mind, a more open heart in order for you to evolve, this is the word for you: curiosity. Today something bad happened to me, or that I perceive to be bad, but let me be curious about it. What is this trying to show me? Today I saw in me a huge dark demon in one way or another, right? Maybe some of you will become super clairvoyant or clairsentient or a clair. Now another information came through, but well, let's be in the flow, right? By the way, psychic abilities are not really a thing from a higher perspective. I'm talking about Aquarian energy and bringing a higher view on things, right? Psychic abilities, if you ask me, from my understanding right now, are at the beginning stages of our awakening, of the beginning stages of our evolution into the unknown, of our discovery of the unknown. We start to feel more, to see more, to hear more. People called this. You see, it's somehow in the past. It is not. We are evolving. It's like you are getting pieces of the puzzle here and there somewhere. But as you evolve and you embody these abilities, you now have a knowing. And the knowing that you have can be really confused with another clair, which is claircognizance. But it's not. What I'm talking about is the God self. And the God self looks at humanity as a whole, the whole iceberg, the whole pie, not only what is seen or what is unseen. Not only what is seen and what is unseen. And you see, that's why I said Aquarian without what was, the Capricorn in this case, cannot be. Capricorn without Aquarius energy will auto-destruct itself, energetically speaking, right? Will auto-destruct itself. There is not much harmony left in these old structures. And so now Aquarian era, Aquarian energy comes and penetrates these structures more and more profoundly from the ground up. Many of us that have been grounded in false foundations, meaning we have been grounded in the level of how can I even call this? We have been grounded in an unhealthy form of detachment. When you want to be grounded in a healthy form of detachment. And this unhealthy form of detachment is when we really live in the past. We have a lot of ancestral trauma and personal trauma, but that's another story. Again, I have so much information to share. I wanted to say, again, if you ask me, there is no such thing as personal story, because if you come from a lineage, which most of us are, if not all of us, with a whole lot of trauma, you are just going to repeat in one way or another those cycles. Maybe some small elements that are belonging only to your experience as a unique expression of the divine in your life will happen, but those will be easy to manage, because that's actually the normal, you see. And we tend to sabotage ourselves, to auto-destruct ourselves, because the things that are working against us are in the realm of the unknown, right? And here comes Aquarian with a higher perspective. And when I'm saying the higher perspective, is something that can look over the picture from an eagle eyes view and can see, okay, old structures, let's call it now new structures, old structures needing to come together for a more integrated and wholesome world, right? And so the old structures now, they cannot see the bigger picture, but the Aquarian sees the bigger picture. And so it can tell the old what needs to adjust, to do in order to take a step forward evolution, right? Okay. What else? Those of us that are here to we will find ourselves in the month of July and moving into the next 3 years, solid timeline. We will work with the realm of confusion. So what I was trying to say here is that category of people, of the collective, which we have already integrated a lot of the trickster energy, a lot of the old structures. We have become more whole in ourselves. We are now going to work a lot with the realm of the confusion. Okay. This is a very brand new information that wants to come through, so bear with me here for a second. When you are in the stage of, at the beginning stages of getting to know oneself, getting to know yourself, and beings of light from this realm of confusion, which we can call 4D or 5D in this case, beings of light can come to you. Those are fragments of you or of your soul, most of the time, not all the time. And this, the majority of time, better said. And these parts, they just want to shine light on the parts of yourself that are in the dark, repressed, not allowed to see the light of the day, right? Repressed emotions, so on and so forth. And so they being of light, they want to shine light of what's being hidden in the dark. And so with this mentality, you have to work with whatever is being shown to you, felt by you, right? But coming back to those ones that have been integrating this already, you will now be there in the 5th dimension, in the 5D, pulling the energy of the 6th dimension and beyond, grounding it into yourself first and foremost, and then releasing it into the planet, right? And this releasing into the planet means communicating it, like I do right now, or maybe in any other way, to create through art or whatever. You do you, right? Right. What else? Yes, so Uranus in Gemini will create a lot of distortion around the mental level, mental structures at an individual level first and foremost, and then that will manifest at a larger scale, maybe after 3 years of having this transit. Yes, anything else that wants to be added to this message? Anything else that wants to be added to this message? Yeah, many of you will become that which you call to be clairvoyant, right? That which you call to be clairvoyant. And many of you might, if you are not identifying yourself with any of these so-called psychic abilities, you might start to notice a difference in yourself, might start to see things with the corner of your eye, to feel things deeper. Nonetheless, to have a more expanded view, maybe in your life, only 3D speaking, but it's a deeper understanding of life. Be curious about that. Again, the element of curiosity, be curious about that. you can try to develop a language, a way of communicating with a higher power, with these higher beings, with no fear. There is also this misconception that there's a lot of fear around connecting with what's beyond the veil. Well, truth to be told, what's beyond the veil, it's dark, like really dark things. And if you want, I can share from my own experience at the beginning of, and not only at the beginning, I think actually it was 3 years in after these abilities started to develop within me. Before falling asleep, or even a dream time, but not only, during daytime also, I would see demons, right? Demons, Satan, different images of dark things. My subconscious was purging and purging and purging and purging. And so there is nothing to be afraid of. You just have to stay neutral and to ask real questions. And probably here and there, fear will take over you. Allow it to be. Again, with curiosity and acceptance. Don't resist or reject anything that comes to you. Ask, ask, ask. Curiosity, curiosity, curiosity. Embracing the moment. That's that. For others of you, again, those that are in the energy of the passion and creation, great times are around the corner. This transit is really going to facilitate your expression, your creative expression, your career and finances, your expression in the world at large. You will be seen more for that which you are. As a leader, lately I'm kind of allergic to this label of leadership, leader in the spiritual community and businesses, and I'm seeing this left and right, and not that. Why do I feel like this about it? I don't even know. So give me a second to understand. Not going to take long, just 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Because usually 99.99% of the time, the energy that's from the subconscious of the individual that's attached to this words, leadership, yeah, there is this huge demonic entity, if you want. And if these words are too strong for you, know that in itself says something. There is also a misconception around demons and what they are, generally speaking. And so there is this greediness attached to being a leader and having a business. It comes from the energy of lack. 99.99% of the cases. It says, I don't have enough and I'm not good enough. And I know it sounds a little bit complex and complicated, but that's what it is. It's a process of healing and understanding. And when bigger truths are coming into someone that is not prepared to receive them, it might feel like it will backfire to you if you are the bringer of these higher truths, right? It might feel like you did something wrong. The point here is we are approaching a very significant turn of events, or a very significant point in time in 2030 for a specific collective of people here. We are being given the wheel of destiny, if you want, and we have to steer it in a certain direction. And the humanity will follow in a way or another, right? So we have to encourage one another in one way or another to be more flexible, more open-minded, and more open-hearted, to become closer to that Geminian energy, which is split it in two only, and not in a million fragments. And now you might want to ask, what do you mean split it in two only? Split it in two only means whole, from what this perspective. How? Two is the healed feminine energy, healed masculine energy, both grounded in God. Holy Trinity at an individual level, if you want. Holy Trinity at an individual level. Yes. What else? What else? What else? This a very limited, now if only this, what I'm about to say is just only for one person. I know your energy centers will blossom, will open in a very beautiful way in this next 3 years, except one, and that is the masculine energy. But that is because you don't need it as much. If the time will come when you will need it, it will happen naturally. There is no need to fear, there is no need to block a certain outcome in your life, which feels like a natural flow of things because you are afraid you will lose an imagined future. Profound, right? So be in the flow, the road of least resistance, right? What else? I believe that's it. Thank you very much for watching, for being here with me, and see you in my next one. Bye bye.